Man rescued strange tiny creature, but he had no idea what it would grow into.
But before we start, please make sure to subscribe to Did You Know and hit the bell so you never miss an upload from us. Also, leave a like right now.
Almost every day, thanks to the power of social media, we see heartwarming stories shared about people taking care of animals in need. They make you laugh, cry, and renew your faith in humanity, even when the world seems like it's at its darkest hour. For one man, the discovery of a small creature would change the course of his life forever and teach him the true meaning of love. It was a typical spring afternoon for Jeff Longo, who decided to take a walk through his local park. This was something he did on a regular basis. But today he'd come upon something that was completely unexpected on the sidewalk. Burning up in the hot sun, alone and left for dead, a tiny baby animal was curled up on the sidewalk. He could tell it was neglected and fighting for its life, so Jeff decided to take it home. While it was tempting to let Mother Nature take its course, he simply couldn't leave the baby alone to die in such a manner. The little baby was about the size of Jeff's pinky finger, and he had absolutely no idea what it was. This made rehabilitation tricky since the baby was so small and he really wasn't sure what the appropriate food to feed the animal was. Regardless, Jeff decided to press on to see what he could do. Searching the internet for tips on how to nurse a baby animal, Jeff discovered a formula recipe that felt might work despite not knowing what it was. He wanted to prolong the baby's life by any means necessary and researched tirelessly on how to do so. With each passing day, the baby grew stronger and stronger. The formula seemed to be a big hit with the infant, who started to grow fatter and put on some fur. For someone as inexperienced as Jeff, he thought it was a miracle the baby continued to thrive. Throughout the process, Jeff began to bond with the little one. He never imagined something so small and helpless could bring him so much joy. In fact, he was beginning to love the little nugget almost as much as his dog. This love helped the struggling baby fight for its life. For 3 months, Jeff nursed the little one around the clock. He also documented the journey on social media, which showed how quickly the baby was growing and thriving. Finally, the baby had grown large enough for him to identify what it was. You'll never guess. Are you ready? Jeff had been nursing an adorable female baby flying squirrel. Isn't she just the cutest thing? As the days continued to go by, the squirrel continued to grow stronger. In all honesty, Jeff was surprised by how well she was doing. As the squirrel continued to thrive, her coat got thicker and her bond with Jeff strengthened. She knew who her daddy was and had no issues staking her claim. One of her favorite spots to rest was on his knee. As the days continued to pass, Jeff's dog soon became obsessed with the new member of the family. He would sniff and lick the little girl, happy to take on the role of big brother and protector. Who could have imagined Jeff's life would change so much with the addition of a sweet squirrel? Jeff decided to name her Biscuits when he realized that she was going to pull through. It was a miraculous recovery, to say the least, and he was beginning to breathe easier knowing she was thriving. However, she still needed a lot of attention and care throughout the day. Since their bond had grown so strong, Biscuits still needed to be fed multiple times per day. Jeff began bringing her to work. She seemed to really enjoy hanging out in his shirt pocket and offering work advice. Of course, having a flying squirrel at work did prove to be a bit of a distraction from time to time. As you can see, Jeff had no issues posing her for pictures to increase his social media following. Biscuits didn't mind though. She loved spending time with her dad. As days turned into weeks and then months, Jeff began to realize he couldn't imagine his life without Biscuits. Every day brought about a new adventure for the dynamic duo, and he loved the excitement she brought to his life. As Biscuits continued to grow and with her strength restored, Jeff began to wonder what was next for her. There was one possible solution that he'd been avoiding once he knew she was going to make it, but now it was the time for a decision. The question was, did he have the strength to do it? Jeff began to wonder whether it was time to release Biscuits back in the wild. She was eating on her own, and he knew she belonged in her natural habitat. It was a decision he needed to think about for a while. He'd grown to love the little one, and letting go would not be easy. After weighing the pros and cons of the situation, Jeff decided it simply wasn't worth the risk. Biscuits was happy and had become part of his family. He worried if she was released back into the wild, she'd be an easy target for larger animals. Therefore, it was best Biscuits became a permanent member of the family. Honestly, it seems like Biscuits was much better off living with Jeff. She had love, comfort, and all the treats she could eat. Sounds like living in squirrel luxury. We wish we had a Jeff to pamper us all day. Jeff and Biscuits enjoyed their days going to work, watching Netflix and eating. And of course, Biscuits loved to hang out in her favorite spot, his shirt pocket. Eventually, Jeff decided that Biscuits needed a special home of her own. After doing some research on flying squirrels in captivity, he brought her a cage that would give her plenty of space to roam and play. To say Biscuits was thrilled with the new pad would be an understatement. Jeff also discovered her love for fruit. Strawberries were Biscuits' favorite treat, but Jeff tried to limit them because of the sugar content. Of course, this photo reveals that Biscuits was super hard to resist when it came to treats. How could anyone say no to that adorable face? She'd have strawberries by the pound if she lived with me. According to research, flying squirrels can live in captivity for up to 6 years or more. It seems Jeff and Biscuits would have plenty of time to have amazing adventures together. Love is a powerful emotion, and as you can see, it helped heal this little squirrel and bring joy to a man's life. These two definitely complement one another, and we can't wait to see what adventures life has in store.